gentlemen, could you please take your seats as we will be starting in a few minutes? Ladies and gentlemen, the arrival of the Prime Minister, Honorable John Briceño. Ladies and gentlemen, kindly rise for the arrival of the Governor General of Belize, Her Excellency Dame Froila Salam. Good evening from the historic Battlefield Park here in the heart of downtown Belize City. We are pleased to have in our presence tonight Her Excellency, the Governor General of Belize, Dame Froila Salam, and retired BDF Captain Daniel Mendez, Prime Minister of Belize, the Honorable John Briceño, the Mayor of Belize City, His Worship, Mr. Bernard Wagner, Chair of the National September Celebrations Commission, the Honorable Francis Fonseca, other members of the Cabinet, members of the Diplomatic and Consular Corps, members of the National Assembly, the friends and family of our outstanding awardees, other distinguished guests, and Belizeans from home and abroad. To honor our nation, please remain standing and accompany the BDF band for the singing of our national anthem. please remain standing for the invocation, which will be done by Father Matthew Rule.
Almighty and eternal God, who through Jesus Christ has revealed your glory to all nations, please protect and preserve Belize, our beloved country. God of might, wisdom, and justice, please assist our Belizean government and people with your Holy Spirit of counsel and fortitude. Let the light of your divine wisdom direct their plans and endeavors, so that with your help we may attain our just objectives. With your guidance, may all our endeavors tend to peace, social justice, liberty, national happiness, the increase of industry, sobriety, and useful knowledge. We pray, O God of mercy, for all of us, that we may be blessed in the knowledge, sanctified in observance of your most holy law, that we may be preserved in union and in that peace which the world itself cannot give. And after enjoying the blessings of this life, please admit us, dear Lord, to that eternal reward that you have prepared for those who love you. Amen.
Thank you, Father Matthew Rule. Please be seated. For the past half hour, you have been entertained by the Belize Defense Force Band under the leadership of Director of Music and Bandmaster Major Kevin Campbell, as well as the Panorifics Steel Band. I ask you to join me in a round of applause for their beautiful music. Tonight, we pay tribute to 25 outstanding patriots who, over the years, contributed to culture, education, community outreach, sports, business, and commerce, as well as to protection and preservation of our environment. Their achievements are now a part of our rich Belizean cultural heritage. Tonight's program also celebrates our rich tapestry of Belizean music as we blend together marching band, string, and horn instruments, along with beautiful voices, to celebrate the music of one of Belize's premier bands of the 1970s, the Jesus Acosta and the Professionals. So, welcome to this year's Tribute to Belizean Patriots. Keeping the program moving, I invite the Secretary of the National Honors and Awards Advisory Committee, Ambassador Stuart Leslie, to read the proclamation.
Good evening. Whereas 25 Belizeans have labored diligently on behalf of the improvement and to the benefit of the country, Belize, its people, and whereas they have contributed their time, energy, and excellence, often at great sacrifice to themselves, to making Belize a better place for all our people. Now, therefore, by the power vested in Her Excellency, Dame Froila Salam, Governor General of Belize, and acting on the advice of the Prime Minister, the Honorable John Briceño, and on behalf of a grateful nation, Her Excellency wished that we proclaim the national awards being vested upon these 25 outstanding Belizeans. Given this 13th day of September 2023, in the 42nd year of Belize's independence, God save Belize.
Thank you very much, Ambassador Stuart Leslie. And just a correction there, it's not the Panorifics Steel Band, it's the Pandemonium Steel Band. As we prepare for the distribution of awards, I invite the Belize Defense Force Band to provide us with some entertainment. Thank you, Major Campbell and the members of the Belize Defense Force Band. And now, ladies and gentlemen, I invite Her Excellency Dame Froila Salam to deliver her remarks.
Good evening. September is reserved for the acknowledgement and homage of our independence, culture, and importantly, our Belizean Patriots who so tirelessly served their nation. The tribute to Belize Patriots ceremony presents the National September Celebrations Committee and the public with an opportunity to commend those who among us embody the Belizean way. Through their efforts, our modern-day patriots light the path that we all strive to venture on, a path to selflessness, which prioritizes country and countrymen and countrywomen. I thank these individuals for their dedication to the land of the free and invite all my fellow Belizeans to join us in celebrating their hard-earned success. Thank you.
We begin with our first awardee, Miss Lilia Bowman from Belize City, who tonight is being honored with the Meritorious Service Award for her contribution to community service. Lilia Bowman, affectionately known as Lily, is a daughter of the so-called South Side of the city. She attended
Imagine
St. Ignatius Primary School,
a world
St. Catherine's Academy,
where there is so
and
much
SJC
need
Junior College.
and nobody listening,
She's a proud
nobody
mother of 4
taking
children.
action, nobody
Forfeiting a
responding.
scholarship to study
That
abroad,
would be
Lily
a very
entered the
sad
workforce
and a very
as an
unfortunate
employee at Barclays
way
Bank
of living.
in 1976.
My
27
passion
years transpired
started
Lily
with the
covering
Belize Red
various
Cross.
positions in the bank
They
before retiring in June
highlighted
2003.
the need
After
that our
retirement,
communities
Lily
have
established
each and
managed
every
a
day.
small family
They
resort on
also
St. George's
taught
Key.
me how
She
to have
eventually
compassion,
joined the Belize Red
how to
Cross
be humble,
Society.
and how
Today,
to come
Lily
down
is
to the
Director
level
General
of
the organization, position she
everybody
has held
that we
since May
serve, the most
2005.
vulnerable, or how to
Ms. Lily
rise to the
passionately
level
believes in
of
values
the
and
people
7
who support
fundamental
us.
principles
I am
of the Red
humbled,
Cross
really
movement,
humbled, to
and
be able to
upholds
say
them as
that
much as possible.
somebody
She
recognized
dedicates much of
what I
herself
did.
to
But of
managing
course,
the Belize Red Cross
humbled also
headquarters
because I know that
and
I didn't
its
do it by
7
myself.
branches,
I could never
guiding
be
them
out there
through
doing all
various
this work
initiatives to
that I
develop
do
safer,
alone.
healthier, and more
I have
resilient
a
communities.
fantastic team
The Red
behind
Cross
me.
has become a
It
way
is
of life for
very
her,
humbling
which she
to know.
finds highly gratifying. Thank you, Ms. Lilia Bowman, for service to country. Ms. Ignacia Erlinda Arana grew up in Punta Gorda, where she started her career as an educator. After 4 decades in the classroom, tonight we honor her with the Meritorious Service Award for contribution.
My dad
Education.
was he was my superhero.
Mrs. Agnes Arana has
And I used
dedicated
to
her
watch him
life
teach
to
and so on, and
sculpting
I would
the minds
make
of young
believe that
Asians
that's
for over
me.
4 decades.
Had this,
In
it's like a
15,
built-in
Agnes
thing.
began her career as a
I want
pupil
to learn.
teacher in her
If
native
you
Punta Gorda
explain
town.
something to me now and I don't understand it, after you leave, I won't try to find out.
Overseas correspondence courses,
I don't like
earning her general
halfway
certificate of
thing.
education, ordinary
So that when
level
people are
qualifications
talking
in English
or discussing,
and geography from the University of
understand
London
what
in
you're talking
England
about.
in 1964.
And I
She
wanted
qualified
other
as a
people
trained
to be like
teacher
that
at
too.
the then Belize
My
Teachers
siblings,
College and
my
received her
students,
first-class
and
teacher's
so on.
certificate
I
in
am
1963.
thrilled.
With a Commonwealth
I am
Fellowship
proud.
from the British government, she
I am
financed her
grateful.
enrollment at Southampton University in England from 1972 to 1973, earning her qualifications in education and geography. After passing her qualifying exams, she became an associate of the College of Preceptors in England in 1976. Mrs. Arana taught at the primary level for 13 years and went on to teach at the secondary level at Wesley College, St. Catherine's Academy, and Edward P. York High School for 20 years. She spent the final 10 years of her career teaching at St. John's College before retiring in 2000. Mrs. Arana credits her profound love for education and passion for learning to 2 career teachers, her late father, Carlos B. Martinez, and her late husband, Gregorio Miguel Arana. We thank Ms. Ignacia Erlinda Arana for her service to country. Recognized for her work in helping to create cultural awareness and her dedicated service to family and community, tonight we present to Ms. Myrtle Palacio the Meritorious Award for her contribution to community and public service. Mrs. Myrtle Palacio holds a trained teacher's diploma, Bachelor of Science degree in Accounting and Business Management, and a Master of Science degree in Urban Studies with a concentration in social planning and community economic development. She conducts research, presents technical papers at national and international conferences, and has published on topical areas of socio-political, socio-cultural, and socio-economical concerns. As an entrepreneur, Mrs. Palacio pioneered the political opinion polling culture, the computer and offshore data entry industries in Belize through her organization Glessima Research and Services Limited. Glessima was well known for its commitment to skills training and job placement. The concept of Glessima was influenced by Mrs. Palacio's experience in party politics as one of 2 women candidates for the People's United Party in the 1984 general elections. She participated in several election observer missions to the Caribbean, Curacao, and Sierra Leone with CARICOM, IFES, and the Commonwealth Secretariat, and was also a member of the Commission of Inquiry into the work of the Election and Boundaries Commission of Trinidad and Tobago. From 2012 to 2015, Mrs. Palacio served as the Secretary General to one of Belize's major political parties. Over the years, Mrs. Palacio has been recognized for her contribution to cultural awareness and her dedicated service to family and community, which includes her appointment as an ordinary member of the Civil Division of the Most Excellent Order of the British Empire. Myrtle taught for 20 years at all levels of education. Education is power, and developing human capacities is of utmost importance to Myrtle Palacio, as she continues to acquire knowledge on Belize through primary and secondary research. We thank you, Ms. Myrtle Palacio, for your service to country. Miss Maria Chang moved to Belize in 1970, where she became actively involved in the family business, the Peking Restaurant on Hydes Lane in Belize City. From those humble beginnings, the Chang business grew to a small retail grocery, to wholesale, and eventually to pasta manufacturing, hotel, and bakery. One of Belize's first female entrepreneurs, tonight we honor Miss Maria Chang with the Meritorious Service Award for Business and Community Service.
Contribution always help the people to make Belize better. No long ago, my husband helped the young people, and they have won the team for Belizean Stadium the past before, and we help the football past before. A lot the people ask do something, we always help them. Anything we help, not only any people, yeah. And the school, any people ask, we donation. I feel happy and humble because so many people can get what I get it. I am lucky.
Maria Chang was born in Canton, China. At At 16, she had an arranged marriage to her husband, Arturo. Shortly after, he got an offer to migrate to Honduras for a better life. He worked hard and spent for his wife 2 years later. There in Honduras, Maria had 4 sons. In June 1970, the Changs moved to British Honduras for a better life. Like most typical Chinese families, Maria's family embraced hard work and respect for elders. She also instilled in her children the value of working hard, staying together as a close family, and looking after each other as they embraced British Honduras as their new home. Their first and only job was at Peking Restaurant, which was located at exactly where Dara's Meat Pan Hides Lane is. Maria was the assistant cook to her husband. After 3 years of hard work, they managed to buy a little grocery store on Victoria Street. Living frugally, they expanded their business, growing from a small retail grocery to wholesale and eventually to pasta manufacturing, hotel, and bakery. During all those years, Maria Chung always gave back to society through donations to worthy causes and sponsorship of sports team. A wife, mother, shopkeeper, and cook, Miss Narita is best known in Belize City as one smart businesswoman and an amazing cook who combined her talents, which resulted in the famous Neri's restaurant. For her contribution to business and to her community, we honor her tonight with the Meritorious Service Award.
Couldn't believe that I'm being recognized like that, you know. I feel good. I feel good about it, you know, for being somebody like this, but you know, when we just start, it's really hard, you know, but then years come and we start to do it much easier, but you know, it's still hard. I love it, my passion, you know, I love do this. But I guess one of these days I have to leave it.
Mrs. Neria Pickwood was born in the Orange Walk District on September 24, 1953. She is the wife of the late Mr. Alfred Pickwood, whom she married in 1975 and had 7 children together. Since Mr. Pickwood was a traveling salesman, Mrs. Pickwood spent her time at home with her children and mother-in-law, who taught her how to cook. This skill led Mrs. Pickwood to start selling panadas to make extra income. Eventually, she added Creole bread, bun, powder bun, tamales to her sales. Even while they ran their grocery and wholesale store, Pickwood Brothers, Mrs. Pickwood, continued her food sale. After the store closed in 1995, they opened a small restaurant on Freetown Road, Neri's. The menu was small but was eventually expanded to include escabeche, chimole, conch soup, serre, beef liver, and local delicacies such as gibnut and deer meat. In 1998, they had the opportunity to open another restaurant, Neri's 2, at the corner of Queen and Daly Streets. When customers asked Mrs. Pick how she kept her standards and consistency in taste, she always replied, "I do it with love." Mrs. Pick still enjoys waking up early to be in her restaurant and greeting customers. Thank you, Mrs. Narita Pickwood, for your service to country. From teacher to preacher, mentor to manager, teachers from the South and from Belize City have benefited from her knowledge and generosity. A member of the Belize Red Cross and organizer, Ms. Jane Locaria is tonight being honored with the Meritorious Service Award for contribution to education and community service.
I have people with special needs in my family, and when I got a scholarship to go to Jamaica, it was for the teaching of the hearing impaired. So that made it more, I had more passion for it. And so when I returned, I opened the unit at PG Methodist School. It is still going strong. I am actually the local manager for the school, and I keep going back because these are some of the people that are not looked upon, and they need us. We need to look at them. I've encouraged teachers to recognize those that are special and don't say, oh, they fail. There must be something we can do to go around that so that we can get them to be a success in what they do. I feel very honored. It's unexpected, but I feel very honored.
Thank you, Ms. Jane Locario née Melendrez. This resident of San Ignacio has dedicated her life to helping others and today serves as the manager of the Octavia Waite Center in San Ignacio Town. Tonight, we honor her with the Meritorious Service Award for her contribution to community service. Ladies and gentlemen, Ms. Claudette Hulse.
When I was at UNDP, I used to work with the refugees who came in. At that time, they had just started coming in. And I used to see the deplorable states that the old people used to live in. And I wanted to help them, but that was not my job. I worked in the office, but sometimes I did go out with the people, and I realized, you know what, these people live in El Salvador, Guatemala, and come here. What about our people? We have people like that. So that is when I realized, I said, you know what, I will help our elderly. No, I'm going to Octavia Waite because there we can find a lot of old people. So that is what I did. If I have the health and strength to do it, I want to continue. I don't like to be recognized. I did it from my heart. And I love doing it, but thanks anyway.
We thank Ms. Claudette Hulse for her service to country. From the first day she entered the classroom, she knew she was in the right place. And for the next 25 years, she dedicated her life to teaching in Cayo, after which she and her husband established Faith Nazarene School in San Ignacio. For her life's work as a teacher, we honor her tonight with the Meritorious Service Award for Education. Round of applause for Miss Anita Zib.
The passion comes from, I was a little girl. I liked to play school. My sister and my sister didn't like much school, but I liked school. And so we would play teacher. When I am in the classroom and I see my students just learning, that brings much joy to me. At the end of the day, I feel good. I can go home and I say, today was a very good day. I keep telling teachers, when I go in the classroom, I feel like I can go back and do 10 years more. So at 72, they say, no, you need to rest. But I just keep going because I have a passion for education, especially now that I work with teachers. I feel good at the end of the year when I see a teacher moving from point A to point B. I am very thankful, and at the same time, it's an honor for me to be recognized by the National Committee on the service that I have done to my country and to many students that have gone through our during our profession. I feel very, very thankful and grateful.
We thank Miss Anita Zib for her contribution to country. She was the first young girl to graduate high school from San Jose Village in the Toledo district. Ofelia Chiak continued her studies all the way to obtaining a master's degree. She went on to be a teacher, school principal, community health worker, and alcalde. Tonight, we honor her with the Meritorious Service Award for Community Service.
I wanted to be a teacher because I wanted to make a difference in first of all, in the community that I live in and the people that I serve, which are my people. And I believe that at age 17, when I first became a teacher, I realized that I can make a big difference. And the moment was when I realized I can make a students learn to read and write, because it was the first time I have been teaching them, and they were just so tiny. I got an infant 1 and an infant 2 at that time. So from there on, I realized that I can inspire the students now. I'm humbled and I am very grateful and honored. I have never been looking for any recognition as this, but I am so happy that I am being privileged to see that in my lifetime.
We thank you, Ms. Ophelia Chiak, for your service to country. An avid sports fan, Eliza Arnold is dedicated to sport development, especially in volleyball. Her contributions to the development of volleyball in Belize have been invaluable, with her long-standing involvement in the sport starting in a time when volleyball was in its early stages in the country. We pay tribute to her efforts to the development of volleyball in Belize and award her the Meritorious Service Award for Sports.
I feel so happy to be under the contribution of the volleyball. I have a son and grandson that then play volleyball. And Ricarte is the first one, Oscar, Arvid, Ryan, Aliyah, Raul, Amir, and Damian. You see how much I have in volleyball team. They come and ask me if I am the one join volleyball team. So I tell them, okay, join it, if just be careful and go to volleyball because I like volleyball. So every night I go and somebody have to take me because I use my walking stick.
What message would you like to tell to other parents in Belize to encourage them to give their children support?
Yes, to encourage them and sit down and talk, give them the advice. Yes, because you sit down with your children, you advise them on what is good and what is bad. So you like the volleyball, go ahead, but be careful.
We thank Ms. Eliza Arnold for her service to country. Ms. Olga Gordon has dedicated her life to community development in the Lake Independence area of Belize City. She has worked with youth groups, served as a mentor, and has helped the elderly. In recognition of her dedication and hard work, she is awarded the Meritorious Service Medal for her contribution to community service.
I was born in a very poor family. I was born in City River, Bedongstown Creekside. And my mom came to live in Belize with a very rough life. And I was always like, if I should live to get, grow to be a woman, I think I would try to help people to get out of a situation like that. Sometimes I just want to throw in the towel. I say, you know what, you done. And then I again call, somebody say, my child get trouble, could you please talk to her for me? Or somebody come knock on the door, I don't have no food to give the children, and they're like, I want to share one pack bread, you know, then that's all I have. You know, or some noodles or something. And then you could see the smile on that mother's face, walking away, knowing that she could go and feed her kids. And then that gave me the joy to go on again. It was a joy to know that somebody out there see what I'm doing and is offer something for what I'm doing. So that's a plus.
We thank you, Ms. Olga Gordon, for your service to country. Turning now to our male recipients. Sports has always been a key part of his life. Inspired by his high school basketball coach, Kevin O'Flaherty, and his uncles, Leslie Sharp and Tony Alcocer, Alan Sharp has always believed that you can make a difference through sports. He was instrumental in the start of the Semi-Pro Basketball League in the early 1990s. Alan joined the Volleyball Association in 1993 and has been influential in the success of volleyball in the country. Under his leadership, the sport has become a consistent regional contender for medals and winning medals at all age groups.
I'm very grateful for receiving such recognition. It's always great to be recognized for hard work. It's always great to have sport be recognized. And so I'm super proud, and I hope this serves as motivation as well for many other people who are working hard in sport. A lot of people who have helped me along the way as well. Hope it continues to motivate them and motivate a lot of young people right now who are trying to put a lot into sport. Oh, sport has been my life. Apart from regular work and regular school, I come from a family of sport. I love teaching, I love passing it on, and I think in my whole life in trying to make the world a better place. I know that sounds a bit as a cliche, but truthfully it's just trying to make things better, especially for the young people. It's definitely a priority area that teaches life skills and teaches unity. I think sports can definitely make the world a better place.
We thank you, Mr. Alan Sharp, for service to sports and country. Tonight, we honor two young Belizean doctors who sadly were victims of the coronavirus pandemic. The Guerra brothers, Kevin and Kenneth, both doctors, served helping to save lives in the COVID unit until they could do no more. Kevin graduated in 2014 and returned to Belize, where he worked at the Carl Hirschner Memorial Hospital and was later transferred to Placencia Health Center. Kevin loved being a doctor and devoted his service to the people of Belize. Kenneth graduated in 2015 and returned to Belize to work at the Western Regional Hospital. He later served in Mango Creek and then at the San Ignacio Hospital. The jovial doctor selflessly cared for all his patients. We honor them with Meritorious Service Award posthumously for their work in the field of medicine and thank their family by letting them know that we will never forget what Kevin and Kenneth did and how their story inspires our nation.
On behalf of the Guerra family, I just want to say thank you to all of those who remember them with affection and gratitude. So I think the word here is that gratitude, because you know when you pass, most of the time that people forget your work, forget your service, during that hard time. So they work until the last days they can, even when they maybe start to feeling bad, start with symptoms, start to being afraid. We feel very good and help to us when we know a lot of people have good experience with them, even when we never know. Like they share from their own money maybe and with other persons, or maybe when we receive some message and the people say, you know, one day I have in this situation and and they explain to us. Obviously we feel good, we feel proud of them. In my husband's case, he worked in Placencia, and sometimes I forget I'm a doctor too. And I say like, it's our son's birthday, why you can't be with us? But then my doctor part say like, okay, Gabi, but you know, this thing is like that. All Belize will remember the Doctors Guerra, because from the medical community, there was the only two paths. They will be always in our memories. And they are like our heroes. For me, they are my heroes. They give their lives. For their patients.
Receiving these awards in honor of Kevin is his wife, Dr. Gabriela Guerra, and his son, Fabio Rafael Guerra. And for Kenneth, his award is being received by his parents. We thank Doctors Kenneth and Kevin Guerra for their service to country. Mr. Eugenio A. dedicated many years of work to community-based organizations, such as TIDE, as the Assistant Terrestrial Manager for Protected Areas, where he was part of a fire management team and community environmental awareness program. At Yeshe Conservation Trust, he was the lead agroforestry trainer and extension officer. He worked with several communities conducting cocoa management training, developing fire management plans, and conserving and storing indigenous seeds. For his work in sustainable agriculture, this native of San Antonio, Toledo, is tonight the recipient of the Meritorious Service Award for Environmental Advocacy and Practice.
That my work now appears to be recognized by our leaders in government and also the nation. And I'm sure also even my community members and local leaders can recognize also my work here at the local level. I've grown with the environment, to love the environment, and also the animals, the birds. Really, it's what you call your sanctuary then. Now I realize it's my sanctuary. Then at the time I was prepared as a young boy to really, create that passion. Yeah, like I said, it's not difficult. And I like to say that once you're passionate about something, it's not difficult at all. This is Mother Earth, And I think doing our conservation work in whatever means, protected areas, or working as a farmer, balancing your food production with biodiversity is very important.
We thank you, Mr. Eugenio A., for your service to country. Mr. Narciso Torres resides in Santa Familia, Cayo District. The contributions this master forest gardener has made over his nearly 7 decades of life's work have been shared with his community, others in the region. For his efforts to support his community, tonight, Mr. Torres is the recipient of the Meritorious Service Award.
I'm not the only person that's doing this kind of work. There is many that are doing. So I see this that I'm getting is for Belize, not for myself. Well, it does encourage me to focus on what I'm doing and do it more constantly to do like a model for other people to see what the benefit of what I'm doing. It benefits every living thing. This forest is not only a forest, it's a forest, but also it's a garden, because we find our food there. We find many things that what we need is we got a lot of resources that we don't even have any idea of how much we got. That's why our national anthem got one of the president said that we got a well controlled.
Over the last 40 years, he has participated in field research in the El Pilar area. His contributions have helped to shape the outcome of decades of investigations focused on ancient Maya settlement patterns. For his work in conservation, Narcisa Torres is tonight receiving the Meritorious Service Award for Environmental Advocacy and Practice. We thank you, Mr. Narcisa Torres, for your service to country. For 49 years, Barrelboom resident Thomas Oliver served as an educator at the primary, secondary, and tertiary levels. A producer of plays and a dedicated teacher, we are honored to present to him the Meritorious Service Award for his contribution to education.
I've been in the educational system for 49 years. I was back and forth between Barrelboom Methodist School and Wesley College. So I was at Barrelboom Methodist School for 8 years, went to Wesley College for 15 years, came back to Barrelboom Methodist for 20 years, and returned to Wesley College for 11 years. I think the greatest force was seeing how students progress under your time, because it's sometimes you get a little note from a student that says thank you, and that gives you the drive to go on, as well as you can see that they have gone from point A to point B over a time, and that makes you want to do more. I feel that it's an honor, even though maybe there are other people just as deserving. So at the same time, I'm humbled by being awarded.
We thank you, Mr. Thomas Oliver, for your service to country. For the 13 years, Walter Brown worked as a public officer in many ministries and with various ministers, including Honorable Louis Sylvester in the Ministry of Energy and Transport, Honorable Fred Hunter in the Ministry of Public Works, Ports and Harbors, and Honorable Carl Thompson in the Ministry of Home Affairs. He also served as the administered head of the public service and was posted to the Ministry of Social Services. After a lifetime in public service, Walter Brown retired in June 1986. He continues to serve the people of Belize through sports and other initiatives. For his efforts to support his community, Walter Brown is tonight's recipient of the Meritorious Service Award.
I joined the public service as a messenger because that was the only job at that time. And I worked my way up first class, second class clerk, first class clerk, administrative officer, head of the organizations and method unit. And from there, I just hopscotch, I think you'd call it. And I was promoted to permanent secretary in 1973. And I served 13 years in that capacity. I could have left and go somewhere else. I didn't. I went on leave, came back. I went to study, came back. I went several times to study and came back because I thought I owed a contribution to this country. Getting an award when you work for the public service for such a long time, for 37 years, you just can't describe the feeling. I would like to thank most heartily the government and people of Belize by giving this award. I will appreciate it. I will take it.
We thank Mr. Walter Brown for his service to country. Born 1935 in Yo Creek Village in Orange Walk, please note that our program will continue in a few minutes.